Well, hello everyone, welcome back to Squid Junction. It is I, Mad Gamer II, joined by my lovely co-host, Nitera. We got our next matchup of Ink Red Sun versus Rabid.
I'm making a wallpaper. I'm not paying attention. But you know what I will pay attention to? This next match, as we are going in for quite a little bit of a woozy here. Ink Red Sun and Rabid, I think we're no strangers to them. We've seen them here and there before. And especially since they are in the top bracket right now, they have to go through a best of 5 of all things. Which means I'm not getting match point until like 3 games later, bare minimum. I say 2. So you see, I pay attention to these things. It is a shame, but I will get it. I will get my moment.
I am a little bit more, well, who is not familiar with these two teams? Red Sun just being all over the place. Seeing him
Okay,
so
I'm
many
gonna play.
times.
I'm gonna play the dumbass. I don't know who these teams are. Tell me about them.
Alright, so we have Ink Red Sun. I know that Crim is a backline. We'll be seeing either Ballpoint or Charger at some point. Rabid, I know Adapt is a bucket main. We're going to be seeing some either Vanilla Slosher or Tri-Slosher, possibly Machine. I know they were big into the Machine when it was not nerfed.
You've got my interest. You got my interest. I personally want to see how this will pan out in the long run, as we do see a way for them to, like, you know, kinda like push forward this composition that they have right now, which is consisting of a Machine, a Ballpoint, a Wiper. And on the other side, we also have something similar with a little bit more turf control here. So, economy-wise, I'm looking at a Slayer comp versus a Turf comp. Very plain and simple. Red Suns is gonna try and make headways with that Machine as well as their Wiper, but stands the reason how they're able to do that very efficiently with a map like Splat Zones, especially on a map like this one.
Well, the beacons are not the best for MakoMart. The fact that it's so small, you don't really need them, but... Well, actually, no, perhaps the recon, just being able to see members on the map, but... Perhaps they got something cooking here, because they did take down 3 members of Rabid and have a solid control zone and the surrounding area. Now they're just going into the lockout positions.
Right. And now they're able to push back. Ink Red Suns again showing why they have a a little bit of a semi Slayer comp. They also have the Tacticaler on standby if they need to, the Enza. And so again, more of attrition is going to go towards the side of Ink Red Suns, but don't be fooled, friends, as we do have the Slosher to work alongside the Ballpoint if they need to really take a very long fight. They have the tools necessary to beat them, and Ink Red Sun is not, not ashamed to use Tacticaler to their advantage. The main thing is, can we really see on the side of Rabbids whether they can pull back from this against a comp that, runs a very, very forward frontline weapon in the Wiper? And the answer doesn't look very much a yes. It looks very much a no, because their guns are not covered and their Wiper is going ham, and bit by bit we are seeing them try to reclaim space, but again, completely trading back and forth again. Squeeze is now out of the count here, as we do see Crim slowly making their way over and supporting a team with a little bit more control on the area. And this just means Rabid don't have a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, I was surprised that they were able to take the zone at all. It looked like it would have been a clean knockoff of Red Sun, but Rabid buying themselves a little bit of time at applying that pretty large penalty to Red Sun. But still, Red Sun maintaining that control, like you said, just they're not giving Rabid an inch here. Like the Booyah Bomb coming in to help Nico with the clean of, like, that Wiper gets in your base, place a couple of beacons, and it is going to be hard to push them out, but take them down.
Well, we do see, yeah, take them down, that's the thing, right? And we do see them, Nico completely getting taken down as well, and this completely changed the entire tide of the game, moving towards the side of Rabbids of time to shine here. They have to take the point here, but unfortunately they do not do so, and this is just going to be a game. They had the opportunity to do it, but a little bit too late for their side. They had just a little bit more time. I think they were able to, like, turn it around.
Yeah, it's like they had that one opportunity, but just like Red Sun broke apart their push before they could really lock it down. Like the Inkjet Booyah Bomb disrupted them so well. And then the Wiper going in for the cleanups, like they were kept on their toes the whole game.
Indeed, the whole game is just down to them. Like, can they do it? And it looks like the answer is no. No, they cannot. As we do see how they're able to make it work, though, I do believe that there's a chance here that they can make something happen. We're gonna see a little bit more of a sustained fight And looks like Rabid know what they need to do. They just need to pop in a Tentacooler and all good, right? Tentacooler. Oh my god, a Tacticooler. So the issue then stands with how can we deal with the Wiper, because that's the main issue, and I think maybe running a double front line might be better in that case, because we do see a 96 Gal, and well, you can use a 96 Gal against a Wiper. Once the Wiper's in your face, it is do or die, I would say. Like, I would say maybe running the Tri-Slosher, the vanilla Tri-Slosher, might be the play here. A very strong weapon indeed compared to the Slosher, which is a little bit slower but has the range. He has something really to contest against it, and the 96 Gal can stick to try to challenge against the Wiper if need be.
Well, I can see them running that vanilla Slosher specifically for zones. You know, it has that Tri-Strike, it has that Splat Bomb. Great inking tools, and it's, I think, also good just for moving the enemy team, especially for MakoMart. But taking the vanilla Tri, I 100% agree with you. Taking that pick for Rainmaker, the Toxic Mist and Inkjet combo is so good for just the aggression and defense as well. Like, there's really only one place to take that Rainmaker, and that's going to be that right side. So plop a Poison Mist, and they can't go that way.
Exactly. Okay, so see, this is why it matters with me on the table, on the desk. He can read my mind. He understands.
There we go.
This is exactly why the miss works. Yeah, the vanilla Tri really comes in strong here, so let's just see how it goes. I'm honestly surprised at how strong Toxic Mist is. For its one ability, which is just to slow people down. It is really fantastic, especially when you can close the gap just like that. And now let's see how it plays out. As we do see again, control is going very early on to Ingrid Suns, as we don't see where the Wiper is. He just need to look out for it right now, and we'll know how this game really pans out. Still in the backlines here, as we do see the ballpoint coming in with an early Inkjet, but into a wipeout just like that. Like I said, right, all they needed to do was to have something a little bit more akin to slowing down or giving more power to contest against the Wiper, and right there we get it. Aaron now coming in, throwing in the Trizuka and making space here. They might have lost the Rainmaker, but at 19 points, I mean, is it really losing? Because all they need to do now is just pick it up and go back out. Oh, that was kind of dangerous. That going into the pipe there, I did not need to see that one. That was painful to look.
I mean, that might have shaved them a couple of points there. Like, the rail definitely ate up some of the ink game thrown at them, but it just unfortunately stalled them out before they get too far. But I feel like this is more Rabid speed right here, like pulling out the ballpoint for zones. Like, they just weren't able to contest against Red Sun's full-on backline comp that they had going there. So now that they're in their element with the full front line, they are definitely keeping Red Sun at bay here, and they have a good control of mid, even though their push is stalled.
Look at that, contesting back with their own Wiper here, just not making it work. And this is why we see Nico coming back around the clock to sweep them up here for a wipeout as well. And this allows them to just try and make some hit speed moving forward. This sauce is out. Nico is trying to make some hit space here to make something work, and is finding his way to the back lines. Unfortunately, just not enough control on the ink side of things to make anything work, and this means that they're just gonna have to be contented with taking the checkpoint for now. Ink's trying not letting them go, however, and this means that they're gonna have to take the long fight out. But 2 down on the side of Rabid, I think it's safe to say that they might have a chance to pick out the Rainmaker and push forward a bit more.
Indeed, Rabid is slowly getting whittled down. Like, they're doing enough to slow down this push, but they're losing members left, right, and center. But that might be just the turning point they need. Just the ends that remaining. They're going to be chased out with the ink strikes, and they can just take that Rainmaker and get it out of that corner. Like, they still have a solid lead with this, and with the Rainmaker in possession, that's going to give them so much more map control. And on top of that,
and I mean, with that map control said and done, the question therein lies with, can they continue to make this push work? Because, I mean, I'm looking at it and they still have a lot of ground to cover. At least 40 points bare minimum if they want to make something work. And from there, it's going to be a very tough hill to climb. But we do see the Rainmaker slowly coming back to a reset here, which is probably the best thing that can happen for the side of Rabid. Because, like, you know what? If they're going to take point here, all they need to do is just break it, and they have a lot of zone control once again. But again, Candy is now contesting against Nico and an Inkjet, and I really don't think you want to be on the other end of that Inkjet. As we do see, the team is all completely scattered here. Rabid is slowly losing their footing once again. They had something going, and they're kind of just losing it again. Nico just standing forward and being a menace to society with their Wiper.
we do see the Tri-Strike coming out, trying to keep this push from going. But they are still in control of the Rainmaker. They are pushing their way forward, one member at a time. They do finally take down the Rainmaker carrier, but it is a close one right now. The Inkjet going to be popped here, trying to move them out of the way, but They just need one more special to push forward to keep that lead. Like, Rabid is doing an excellent job of just keeping them from getting too much ground.
Right, and as we see that again, a pseudo wipe more or less here, and the only reason why we still have players on the field is because that Booyah Bomb was definitely there to just buy some time, but that's really not what you're here for. As Rabid now picks out the Rainmaker, they now have control of what basically is the giant dominating factor to why they don't have enough turf. And on the ballpoint as well, so you know very much that their anchor is now solidly just sitting down there pretty and claiming turf for the entire team. So Rabid is in a very good position here. Stands to reason how Ingrid's Sun can move in when they don't even have room to move around.
Yeah, just Rabid is doing such a good work of playing to the terrain of this map. Like, it is so healing. There's so many little nooks and crannies for them to pop out of. Like, Red Sun's got to be on their guard the whole time. Like, the only time they know they're safe is when they completely wipe them, as we just saw here. And they're coming back from spawn.
Oh,
like
this is their chance though. This is their chance. They've got the Booyah Bomb. They've got the Rainmaker coming in with Tactical as well to support them. All they need to do is just force this push right now. And they are forcing it. But I really don't feel like that was the way to go down. There were definitely many ways. And one way was to wait out the suction before they move in. They had time. That's the one thing they had on their side. Yes, despite saying that the timer is counting down, they had the time to wait it out and slowly create, you know, space for themselves to move in. And unfortunately, a little bit of a misstep here definitely goes to show why Rabid takes the game for this one.
Yeah, Red Sun was so close. Like, they had something good going, but just, again, Rabid locking down the defense, and then finally the try, just throwing out the miss to make sure they don't get anywhere near that Rainmaker, taking a solid game 2.
Right, and this means that we are not going to be looking at match point yet, but we're gonna be seeing a few more games. And honestly, looking at a game 5 is always the, you know, the quintessential thing of why I'm here for. Like to see a good fight coming in, so give me something good for that.
Taking over the map, we got Manta Clams coming up, and I assume that the mystery stage is gonna be Barnacle and Dime, but sticking with Manta Clams, I feel like, again, Rabid, with the amount of aggression they were to show, just knocking off that backline that they had, like, they could take so much more ground without it. I feel like going to the Clams, like, on the one hand, that is certainly going to play to the mode, but Manta Maria, that is a ballpoint map if I ever saw one.
That's a ballpoint map. You know what? You're absolutely right on that. As we're now going to see how this pans out, it stands to reason why they couldn't just stick with the same comp. And the thing is, I really don't think that might be the play. This time, I'm going to say the Zipcaster might be something they want to look into again, because once again, we are seeing Nico just running ham, and it just made it work so well. I don't see why they couldn't try for it once again.
No, 100%.
Right, so maybe they want to try something along the lines of that. That is one way they can do it. But options, we have options, right?
No, exactly. We saw them running that Neo Splash in the Rainmaker match. Like, another weapon that does well with Manta Maria is the Vanilla Splash with that Crab Tank. Like, instead of having a ballpoint up on that mask, have a Crab Tank, and like, you can do pretty much the exact same thing, but with the added aggression of a Splash.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see how this plays out for the most part, because I'm excited to see it. I don't know about you, but it is definitely looking really hot right now as they go into the teams once again, and we don't see any change whatsoever, except for maybe a Slosher that has turned into, you know, not vanilla. The Tri-Slosher now switching out for a more support composition, so I definitely like to see that one happen. We do see them trying to move in bit by bit here. Rabid already taking control of turf and zones right now as they are now making their way forward. Again, this is Clan Blitz, so turf control, very important. You want to be able to control as much as you can so that you can just have a clean way in, or at least force your opponents to take more time to move in. And that's the key factor here that I'm really seeing right now. And now we do see a little bit of a Xing Shang Shong fight coming in the center here, with Nico coming out on top.
Is that a technical term, Xing Shang Zhong?
That's a term for anyone using a Splatana or anything that goes swing, swing, swing.
Ah, gotcha. Well,
Paintbrush not included.
These Splatana users are certainly putting them through their pace. Like, both of them are rocking the vanilla this time around. No beacons or missiles to be seen, just some torpedoes and hammers. But You know, Rabid, they kind of got shut down in that earlier push, but they're already back in control of zone. Or I'm sorry, yeah, just control of mid in general. It's like Red Sun is... They had some space, but they lost it almost immediately. They need to be able to break the cycle if they want to get a push going.
Look, honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of interested in looking at like both Candy and Nico just like duke it out because they are definitely the ones making the plays here. And without the Xing Sheng Shongings, we're not making any headways because all I see is a fight that, you know, if I have the tactical, I'm just gonna stay here longer, and if not, I'm just gonna wait for my team to just buy a little bit more time for me so I can like ink back up and go in for another push. As we now see now, Red Sun is getting pushed back right all the way in here, and this is fantastic because zone-wise, not fantastic for them. Score-wise, not fantastic for them. Red Sun is in the corner right now, and they have to just try to play it slow. Squid just continue to turn that timer back up and just continue to accelerate that points going down forward. 60 points already is not too bad of a first push coming into any mode as well. And Rabid's more so. Very hard to come back from this. They need a very good push if they want something to happen.
No, 100%. It doesn't seem like they're able to do that right now. Just the pole point remaining. They do manage to salvage that power clam. But once again, even though Rabid went 2 down, the 2 remaining members that were in mid were able to stay alive and get the jumps in. So like every time that they make a push, every time they lose members, they still have enough control to just bounce back almost immediately. And Red Sun has not been able to compete with that.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem now. It's just backwards, back and forth with I don't have enough team members, but I got enough turf. You need to buy time for yourself to like ink up if you want to go in. And if I don't have enough turf, my team's here anyways. I can just take a fight. So it just keeps going back and forth over and over again, and we're gonna see how this plays out. They did lose a Tri-Slosher for a brief moment here, and this allows Rabid to just try and make some hit space once again. But it stands to reason why they can do that. And I think the biggest issue right now is the fact that they might be standing on the grades here because there just leaves no room for them to run away. If Candy want to walk in and take a fight here, a Xing Shang Shong fight, I mean, by all means, they have no way of swimming out of that.
No, nowhere at all. And I think on top of that, just the Neoslash has been throwing tri-strike after tri-strike on that mask, making sure they don't have time to set up. And so like, that is the main point of setup you want to be set up on, and they just can't set up with it.
Yeah, they just can't set up. You're exactly right. There's no other way to describe that. But as we do see here once again, Rabid is set the tactical so far out because they're so like just living in their zones rent-free. I mean, there's nothing they can do about it. They're not paying any rent, and they're still just sitting there pretty. And now that they have the super clam up, the power clam, they're just able to just find their way and find their mark around. Look, Aaron is already waiting at the corner, just finding his time and just going in with the ultra stand here. And is now in the backlines after dropping a fat power clamp. And that just means the entire team has to contest against Candy, and the fact that they have a score goal broken. So this is not looking good for them in general. They have a lot of pressure on their hands here with 40 seconds on the clock, and they're just not stopping them as points just keeps flooding in bit by bit.
We are down to 40 seconds, and Inked Red Sun has yet to make a single push so far. They haven't been able to really take control of mid as of yet. Like, this is their first good control of mid that we've seen so far, and with 3 seconds remaining, like, they have to get a huge push in order to take that lead back. You know, they got 3 specials online, they're juiced up, they have the opportunity to, but will Rabid let them do so?
One Injet is already out. We still have a Booyah Bomb for the sloshing machine, and also the Splatana, which completely just got wide right there. So Nico's not looking too hot after that, and it looks like the push is devolving here as Rabid did go down to a pseudo wipe, and they're able to try and make a score. They need 80 points, just to let you know, which is 4 power cams essentially. While they are making headways here, it doesn't look like they have enough times around the map. It looks like they have to forfeit this right now, but no, just a little bit more, jumping in with a power climb and cleaning it up. Woo-wee! Cleaning that up, Red Sun takes another game up onto the belt. This definitely looked like a game that Rabid had in the bag, but a last minute snipe right there just cleans it up.
That was absolutely huge. Like, up until this point, like, Rabid has been winning most of their 1v1 fights, so they've been getting more picks, but we got the clutch double from that Inkjet just opening up the push, and then once they got into the streets, they held it for so dang long enough to get a pity clam for the winning point clam.
And they just jumped in with it of all things. Exactly. They jumped in with it. There were like 101 ways that could have failed. I just want to let everyone know. Right, they jump in, they see the jump, and they go, alright, we just throw everything on that one point, and like, what are they gonna do, right? And that didn't happen. They weren't punished. They just went in with it regardless. It is the most painful thing to see, hands down. And honestly, you know what? Props up to you. They've got 2 games in on their belts, and now Rabid is now back at 1.
Well, you know, it's like, you're probably tired of hearing me say it, but when Rabid let Ink Red Sun set up with that ballpoint, they were able to set up and stay set up. Like, getting the ballpoint up in that bunker was the key point of their comp. It can hold so much space, hold so much ground with it, and it was so. We saw Rabid just could not break out from that, at least not fast enough to stop that push from getting the lead.
Right, and well, with that being said though, how can they turn this around? Oh, dear viewers, you are about to see how this could go either way. We are pushing in to match point. We'll get that thing out in a bit, but it looks pretty good from here on out. Red Sun is showing us a very good, a showing, quite literally. As now we are moving to the final match potentially. We are playing into match point. Let's go, Streamer Kun. He's got it with me.
And this is going to be zones like Clamblitz was the match for Rabid to win, but now we're back in zones where Red Sun held a dominant game on MakoMart. So unless Rabid is bringing something new to the table, they're going to have to go up against Red Sun once again.
Once again, yes, indeed, and it just kind of plays out the same way we do see every single time, and that is yeah, I don't want to be on the other end. That's kind of how it always pans out with this kind of maps. It's a very big map, especially, so a big open field, rather. So I'm not sure how any of those Patanas would have worked out, and Nico has chosen to stick with it for the most part, which is very interesting in comparison to the other side where they have opted to go for a Squeezer and a Tetra dualies as well.
Well, once again, like, that is the Deca Wiper, so they're going to have those beacons and the missiles, a strong support, especially for zones. Like, that's going to allow their both the front lines and their anchor just jump back in when they need to, and already we're seeing Red Sun getting some solid control. They have so much pain on the ground. It's like, this is the choke point of this map, as I mentioned before, so even hold of this, especially with that buoy bomb coming out, Rabid is going to have to make a huge push to just break out a spawn.
And here's the problem I have with our Rabid, like, just switching out their composition, because, like, they had so much turf control back then. They knew what they were doing, and then they swapped it out for what is essentially a Slayer composition, and that's not where you want to be. Like, no, that's not it, man. That's not it. And you see, there's no control coming in, and completely wiped out here. Red Sun is going to be taking their game for the win here. That was no contest right here. That's not a fight.
No,
Rabid just kind of. Like,
this was a repeat of game 1.
Yeah, this was a repeat of game 1. They had the game at game 2. They had a composition for game 3, and they dropped it just like that. And that's just not worth it.
I mean, it's tough. Like, they saw that they weren't able to really run the ballpoint effectively, and so they swapped it out for that Enza. But then, it was tough, man. It's like,
that words, and we just we can give you those words.
But what we can say definitively is Red Sun taking the set 3-1. Rabid put up a heck of a fight. Like, game 3 was definitely theirs to win. It was just a clutch play by Red Sun, brought it back in their favor, and of course, you know, zones with Red Sun's home turf. They took that quite effectively.
I know we're the ones that are not playing the games, and we're just gonna give advice as willy-nilly, but honestly, that was a game that was definitely winnable, and I would have loved to see Rabid, like, move up the ladder right there. But that's okay, they still have a loser's run to go down on, and potentially a chance to make a return comeback to Red Sun to show them really who's boss. But in the meantime, we'll be dropping over to a break as we wait for the matches to clean up, and we can get our next match going, so we'll see you all in a bit.